Hello dear colleagues, welcome to my channel. Today I have prepared an interesting story for children. Once upon a time in the depths of a dense forest lived a little boy named Kalia. He was very fond of animals and could often be found playing with the forest dwellers. Once he befriended a rabbit who hopped after him everywhere and even slept at the feet of his bed. One day Kalia decided to take his unusual pet to school. Of course, the other kids were surprised to see a rabbit instead of a cat or a dog. But when they saw that the animal understood everything and answered correctly when asked what day it was, how old the sun was, and who the president of France was, they were completely shocked. The rabbit turned out to be a genius, but what was his name? The boy took the animal home again, and there he noticed that the rabbit was writing something in a notebook. The boy peered over his shoulder and gasped. The rabbit was making notes on how to make bombs. But this can't be. Rabbits are supposed to hop around and eat carrots. Then why did this one read a book on explosives? Did all rabbits read such books, or maybe they just pretend to and actually do something else? For example, look like a carrot-munching rabbit and live in burrows while secretly being spies. Could that be possible? Why else would this rabbit need a pile of notebooks? These questions kept Kalia awake at night, and he decided to follow his pet the next day and find out where he disappeared to every afternoon. It wasn't easy because the rabbit always took a different route, but eventually the boy managed to keep up with him and peek into his hole. It turned out to be an ordinary rabbit hole until Kalia turned the corner and saw what looked like a giant bird's nest behind the wall. What kind of a rabbit hole is this? Curious, Kalia went even deeper inside and heard a voice coming from somewhere above. Startled, he looked up and saw a trapdoor in the ceiling. Someone had obviously made it so that the sunlight wouldn't come in. Kalia remembered the rabbit putting on a hat before going outside and suddenly realized that he was dealing with just any ordinary animal here. This was a mole, a spy mole. And these moles aren't cute creatures that just dig tunnels. No, they have their own agenda. They assemble in secret lairs and discuss world domination plans. Kalia was just about to leave when he heard a loud voice saying, "So Mole, have you figured out how to blow up the bridge yet?" "Not yet," General replied Mole. "The thing is, I can't get close enough to it. There's always someone standing guard." The general sighed. "You'll have to use your cuteness to sneak past them. Mole, you're our only hope now." "Okay," said Mole dejectedly. The next morning at school, Kalia couldn't focus on his lessons. He kept thinking about the mole and its plan to blow up the bridge. Suddenly, the teacher left the classroom and the children heard a loud explosion. "It's the bridge," cried Kalia. He ran to the window and indeed saw black smoke rising over the river. Grabbing his backpack, he ran as fast as he could towards the lair he had seen the day before. As soon as he got closer, he heard voices. "What should we do now? Without the bridge, no one will be able to reinforce the army. We'll have to declare war on all the forest dwellers and let our mole army take over. Only moles should rule the forest. All other animals should be banished or enslaved." When Kalia heard this, he was deeply upset. How could he let these evil moles harm the animals and people of the forest? He thought for a moment and then came up with a plan. He grabbed a large tree branch that was lying nearby, crept closer and whacked it against the entrance of the lair. The moles poked their heads out and screamed. "Who's there?" "It's me," said Kalia. "And I know everything. You wanted to destroy the bridge to conquer the forest. I won't let you." The moles started laughing. "You can't scare us, kid. We have the most powerful weapon. Now get lost." "No, I'm not leaving without destroying you first," shouted Colin and threw stones at the moles. But they were too quick and agile. They easily dodged every stone and even managed to poke their heads out from under the ground right next to him. "You can't beat us," sneered the moles. "Then watch as we take over the forest." And with that, they disappeared into their holes. Kalia stood there for a long time, unsure of what to do. Suddenly he heard a familiar voice behind him. "Looks like they're gone," said the rabbit. "Do you have a plan, Mole?" "Of course," replied the rabbit, winking. "I pretended to be a spy mole, but in reality, I'm a rabbit. And we rabbits don't deal with explosives. We specialize in eating carrots. So if you want to defeat the moles, we'll need some help." "What kind of help?" asked Kalia suspiciously. "We need to flood their lair," said the rabbit. "If we dig a few holes nearby and lead the stream from the river here, then the moles won't stand a chance. They hate water." "That's a great idea," exclaimed Kalia. "Let's get to work." And so, together with the rabbit, Kalia dug holes near the river and led the water towards the mole's lair. Soon, the entire entrance was underwater and bubbles could be seen coming from the holes. The rabbit took off his hat and smiled. "Seems like everything's in order. Now we just have to wait." After a while, Colin saw the moles poking their heads out of their holes. They shook themselves, realizing what had happened, and started screaming, "Save us! We're drowning! Help, please!" But there was no one to save them. And after a while, they all disappeared under the ground. Kalia and the rabbit exchanged glances and smiled. Their plan worked. The forest was saved. The boy returned home and fell asleep peacefully. He had another exciting adventure, and he also made a new friend. And who knows what other surprises the forest had in store for them. Maybe a talking tree or a mischievous gnome. And now I suggest you watch another interesting cartoon for kids, which I have already prepared for you. Look how cute this little mole is.